The ratings disaster continues within the entirety of the woke media, such as MSNBC, CNN, ABC, the list goes on and on. Now, focusing specifically on Sunny Hostin, we know that she has been contributing to a lot of problems going on over at The View via ABC/Disney, which, by the way, in case you guys did not know, ABC is owned by the Walt Disney Company. That's exactly why you have those like Joy Behar, Whoopi Goldberg, Sunny Hostin, Jimmy Kimmel, and those over at Good Morning America serving as the talking heads of Disney's ideology, their overall agenda that is shoehorned either into television, whether it's live, or pre-taped, such as late-night material via Jimmy Kimmel Live. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. So we all know that Sunny Hostin is by far one of the most insufferable, correspondents, if you even want to call her that, on live television. I think that she deserves to be fired, she deserves to be removed, but she is now officially in serious trouble over at ABC by Disney, and exactly what led up to this point is actually quite shocking, and it really is very much a scenario that is now unraveling. Now, what's interesting about Sunny Hostin is that no matter what kind of trouble she gets into, it seems like she either wants to challenge it or she wants to double down on her agenda. She just can't let things go when it comes to her time on The View and when it comes to her view of herself as being part of the limelight on that show. Now, moving onwards, alright, one thing beyond ABC's ratings disaster with The View, we know that Sunny Hostin is contributing to a lot of that. Now, with the entire woke media still in financial flames and a financial disaster, across the board, whether it's CNN, ABC, or MSNBC, one major development going on now involves more to do with Sunny Hostin from The View and what recently happened after she faced major backlash. Now, one crucial update to this situation now involves how the studio executives over at ABC recently took action against Sunny Hostin after many of her comments recently went viral as she continues to double down on her agenda and ideology. Already the majority of the board of directors at the Walt Disney Company are now reportedly in full agreement to force a significant pay cut towards Sunny Hostin again, who makes $3 million a year now, which originally, by the way, was more like around $5 million, before she got a previous pay cut. However, now the board over at Disney, who own ABC, are now officially moving forward to downgrade her pay from $3 million down to just $1 million flat. In addition to this, they are also now actively in process of finding a new replacement for Sunny Hostin as a contingency plan. This all comes after weeks and weeks worth of dedication from Disney analysts and how they did research as to who was contributing to the ratings disaster the most for The View. And it turned out to be Sunny Hostin, even more than Whoopi Goldberg. Now, Disney already gave Sunny Hostin a warning and a heads up about her upcoming pay cut, which is set to go into effect by this March. She also is aware about the replacement they are looking for and warned her that if numbers do not improve, they are ready to either replace her at the moment altogether or bring on a new host, essentially, to challenge Sunny Hostin on live television in order to boost ratings by creating arguments on live television. Sunny is not happy or thrilled about either case. Whichever way it goes, to make matters worse, get this, Sunny Hostin already fired back with aggressive action, where she is now warning Disney of taking serious legal action toward them if they even dare try to fire her, and she is already challenging her pay cut and is now urging to create a legal case out of that situation as well. Now, this comes just days after she blamed sexism and misogyny on the general public for why they lost the 2024 election, and many other viral comments and moments that backfire for ABC and also contributed, by the way, to a loss of subscribers for Disney Plus, and which, by the way, guys, I think Disney Plus is a garbage streaming service. Given how we have witnessed the downfall of Star Wars, how Marvel is just very lackluster in 2025, especially with the upcoming movies. Interestingly enough, we know that Disney's trying to really fix everything, whether it's via ABC, whether it's Star Wars, whether it's Marvel. They are desperately trying to fix everything at once, and it's putting a lot of strain on their focus, and that's why everything's very messy, everything's combobulated and really out of shape, it's not really able to be organized properly. That's all because of Bob Iger. He's not an organized CEO. So again, Sunny Hostin, this pay cut and this process now, this new contingency plan of getting a new host to replace her is very alarming for Sunny Hostin. This is why exactly she is getting very aggressive. This is exactly why she is now attacking the board of directors and Disney CEO Bob Iger. In fact, she is about to speak with him one-on-one. We'll talk about that in just a second. But this is where it gets out of control, is that we know that the View ratings disaster is no different than the ratings disaster happening over at MSNBC, and pay cuts toward Joy Reid and Rachel Maddow and all these different correspondents across the media that are getting pay cuts. Sunny Hostin is a new addition to that, right? So, moving onwards, alright, Sunny Hostin is now also setting up a remote meeting by next week to speak with Disney CEO Bob Iger in a one-on-one conversation in a desperate move to get him to convince the board to do something otherwise about her situation. This is in light of Sunny coming to the realization that her career is essentially over without The View and no other avenue to take after that. Regardless, Sunny Hostin's pay cut so far struck a nerve for Sunny, and it's creating so much chaos at ABC/Disney to the point that it rattled throughout the corporate ladder, and also throughout the various studios like ABC, for example. This is described to be an ongoing drama-filled situation that is shifting Disney's focus from improving programs like The View. Now look, I don't think there's any improving to be done with The View. The only way of improving The View, and I've said this way too many times, is to cancel this show outright and put a new show in its place. In fact, why don't we have somebody else take over ABC at this point? Because Disney is Disney, they're never going to change. I think that they are by far one of the most stubborn studios/corporations out there running the show in the Hollywood bubble that just don't really want to let go of the typical agenda, right? The typical ideology. And sure, there are exceptions. There are times where Disney lets go of that as a way to, quote-unquote, I'm putting up air quotes now, to trick the audience into seeing future projects. That's why sometimes they let go of their agendas on some hit movies or television shows in a desperate move to really keep the fans to stick around, essentially. So Sunny Hostin's situation is not looking good. I think that this is exactly why she's been looking very down, especially in the past, 2-3 days, give or take. She hasn't really been looking well, and she's been looking very angry and bitter, very much acting differently, and I think it all alludes to what's been going on behind closed doors here, and how the board of directors are just beginning to say enough is enough now at this point, and how they are beginning to question Bob Iger on what Bob Iger has been allowing Sunny Hostin to do live on television, right? So we'll have to wait and see where this all goes, but this is a big hit towards Sunny Hostin to the point where, like I said before, it struck a nerve. It's causing her to really warn them that she wants to make a legal case out of all of this, and it's just more Disney shenanigans. So I would like to hear what everyone has to say about Sunny Hostin and her overall status over at The View. I think that $1 million for all the lies that she spews and has actually thrown out there for the past multiple years is more than she should ever earn. Anyways, I would like to hear what you all have to say about that below in the comments, and if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.